Bonjour, good morning, Wache. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I'd like to start to acknowledge that we are on the land of Ojibwe, Cree, Algonquin. We can see in the picture here of the voyager arriving 400 years ago. But when they arrived, the First Nations were here many thousands years before, and they kept the land, the water, the air clean, and were amicable for us to share that territory. So I'm very grateful for that, and I'd like to acknowledge that we are on their land. And for us at 101 Experience, this is very important to do. And this is why we're working closely with the Indigenous community. So I'd like to invite Lynn Cormier, Indigenous Knowledge Keeper, to do an opening prayer for us. And we're going to be sharing the presentation, working together this morning.
Chimigwech. Ani bojo chihuahua some queen dishnakas mukwa megazedudam attachwan and donjba. Chimigwech gemini do de benjigan mandagijigad. Chimigwech noden aki shkode nibi. Chimigwech epigeshmak jongnong giwedinong wabadong. Chimigwech. I'd like to thank Creator and Mother Earth for everything that they provide us. We would not be able to survive without everything, the living spirits that are around us, seen and unseen. I'd like to thank the swimmers, the crawlers, the winged and the four-legged, all the animals and all those spirits that live and surround us. That's what brings balance to life. That's what allows us as two-legged to be here, to live in harmony. And we need to respect that. We need to respect the land and think about those 7 generations to come. So today, I lay virtual tobacco to give thanks with gratitude for everything that we have and for my life, and just to be able to share with you today what we have to share. So miigwech.
Miigwech to you, Lynn, for being here and being part of the project and adding so much. Merci beaucoup. So Cultural Crossroad 101 Experience, well, the name, that's what it tells. It's a crossroad between tourism, but also creating more welcoming communities. So that is our 2 main objectives that we have here. So the project is under the umbrella of Northeastern Ontario Consortium. So this is a regroupment of many organizations in Northern Ontario, which is being sponsored by Centre Culturel Artem. So the project area that we have here, it started from Temagami to Constance Lake, but in the second phase, we've added North Bay, Mattawa area. And because we've had all these private and public sponsors, there is no fees for the participants or municipalities participating in this project.
It's also a big goal of ours to include and invite the First Nation communities. So you see the communities are marked with the little blue squares. There's many First Nation communities across the north, and in the past we have not always been invited into projects like this. So for us with 101 Experience Cultural Crossroads, we know the ample amount of knowledge and respect that they have for all the culture that they carry and have carried for years. So we really want to invite them and include them in what we're doing today.
So we're trying to address many issues with this project. I guess the first one is population aging and declining. The average is 13% in Canada of people of 65 years and over. But for Northern Ontario, many communities are almost double that number. So this is going to bring us big problems. I think a lot of businesses are noticing it right now, the difficulty of getting workers. I know you might say, yes, but we have a lot of new people moving in, which is kind of the point 4 with the pandemic. But a lot of these people moving and buying houses that we've seen in the last few months already have jobs that from the South that they are continuing doing here. So they're not, I mean, it's great because we have new people arriving in our community, but it still addresses the problem. So we need to become more welcoming, to also get workers, immigrants, have First Nation working to be able to fill in those jobs. So Lynn, I'll let you talk about the other two items.
So we also have racism across the North. It's not something that we've always talked about openly, but even between the English population, the French population, the newcomers that are coming, and also with First Nation people. So this is something through this project that we're hoping to address racism and help with that. And then, yeah, the pandemic changes. So the pandemic changes, it's changing. There's lots of new people moving up north, as Nicole said, but there's also, it's a big opportunity now with COVID happening, that families, instead of taking their vacations outside of the country, they're gonna want to stay more local. So a lot of those Southern families are gonna be coming up north, staying within Ontario throughout the summer and until the pandemic kind of settles down. And it's a big opportunity for us to take advantage of those tourists coming through here and visiting and having experiences for them to come to and experience for themselves.
So the contact hypothesis, this was developed in the 50s, and there's over 500 studies that have been done using these conditions. So we feel that experiences has those different elements that helps decrease racism.
And an example of how we plan to use these conditions within experiences is, one would be like a short canoe ride. If we plan to experience a short canoe ride with a shoreline lunch, we're spending quality time together, whether that be 1 to 2 hours. We have an equal status. All of us are together. We have a common goal. And then we're collaborating together while we're paddling, sharing that paddle, sharing discussions, talking, asking questions. So those are 3 conditions that every experience will consistently have.
And while the experience at the grassroots are being developed and connecting with people, my job as director of the project is meeting with the municipalities, politicians, to get the social support from the top, so they want and be part of removing racism in their community. Any municipalities listening today, if you do want, I can go present to council.
So how can developing an experience help me? So for you, there's little to no risk in terms of becoming a micro entrepreneur. If you're someone who enjoys ice fishing and goes out ice fishing fairly often, you already have the ice auger, you already have the fishing rods, you already know how to fish. So it's something that you don't have to take a big risk in terms of costs. It's usually something that you're already doing, that you're passionate about, that you could share with the world around you. So you also have the support of a team that's behind you in developing your experience. We have a very diverse team here with different specialties that, depending on where you do need the help, we can provide that for you. You also are given a specific trainer. So through that trainer, they're always there to connect you with the different team members. Being a part of the 101 Experience project is something that's also bigger than you. It's something that allows you to share your own passions and make a little bit of money on the side. It's something that's happening throughout the North. So with you being involved, you'll be able to see all the other experiences that are getting developed around you in the different areas as well. And with experience development, it's completely up to you on when you want to host. So if you're someone who has kept your job throughout the pandemic and you don't really have a lot of time, you might only want to provide that experience once a week, maybe even once a month. And that's okay. But if you're someone who maybe has lost a job, has a lot of time on your hands, you could definitely decide to offer your experience more often. It could be every day, every second day. Some people even do it multiple times a day. So the ball is completely in your court when it comes to deciding when to host.
So why this is a good time to develop your experience? Well, like Lynn mentioned, there's going to be a big shift. There is a big shift in travel right now. People are also looking for a small group traveling in their bubble. participating in an experience provides that that framework to do that. It's not like going up the CN Tower with 20 people in the elevator. So definitely this is a good time. People are also looking to connect to nature. Indigenous people or Northerners, a lot of Northerners know the forest, that it'd be trappers or just people accessing the forest for ATVing side by side. So you can bring people out in the forest where they can connect and relax. And people want to connect with locals. They want to see what it is they're doing. I'm always pushing that bingo, local bingo, just to go in a home to play bingo. That's something special, and you can connect, say, oh, this is what you do in a small community. And again, we've got a team to support you. Next year at this time, there won't be funding to be able to do that support. So these are the steps to develop an experience. I know it seems very elaborate, but as you take the training, you will understand those steps. For you to, you're the participants, you're at number 2, you're the recruiting participants, and you are attending this information session. The next part of the information session is we're going to have a Q&A session that then you can come and ask your questions, share your ideas of an experience, and then you can make this decision if you want to take the training. So we'll go a little bit more in the details of these different components. Sometimes people tell me, sorry, Lynn, sometimes people tell me, well, I can go on Airbnb and just go do my experience on my own, and you sure can. But before we started the project last year, there was only 6 experience on Airbnb from North Bay to Thunder Bay. So we know it's not that easy, but with the support of a group, we know we can make it happen. We have about 30 experience now on the process of being developed through using this incubator model.
So here we have the entrepreneurial funnel, and it's kind of our explanation of like how we lose participants along the way. You might be listening today and think, hey, I'm really interested in this. But as we get through the presentation, you might realize it's not for me. Also along the training process, if you decide I do want to take the training, different things in life come up, and you might no longer have the time to dedicate to the training that we offer. And then you might, not make it to the end. And we know that this, depending on how many people start, it's not everyone that is going to actually make it to developing an experience, and that's okay. There's different parts of the training that we're going to talk later, and here's passion fairs, and that's a very big component that will explain why it's very important, and why those people that do come to the passion fairs, that experience the passion fairs, are very likely to have their experience uploaded in live as a host.
So as I mentioned earlier, we are working with Airbnb Experience. One of the big reasons is that they offer $1 million US liability insurance. So because we've partnered with them, we've decided to follow the same process to get the experience approved and use the same teams that they are using. So they've approved 45,000 experience in the past 3 years. Every single experience is being evaluated. So here are the different thematics. We're going to have also motorized sports and Indigenous as a specific group because they're very important in Northern Ontario. So we'll just talk a little bit what includes a experience, and then we'll give you some of those examples. So there's really 3 pillars of an experience. First of all, you need to be passionate about something or an expertise. Well, probably you wouldn't feel comfortable I wouldn't be comfortable talking about music, which I'm not a good musician, or I can't play music. So that's kind of obvious. So that one's easy. Insider access. So that is, what can you provide to the guests that they wouldn't be able to do on their own? So that's if a museum wants to do an experience, well, if it's just going through the museum like you can do on your own, that's not an experience. But if you're working with the curator and you get to see the behind the scene, how they receive new, sorry, forget the name now, but anyways, artifacts, thank you. And you get to wear the little white gloves and check them out. Well, that can become an experience. And the very important one is the connection, is that you arrive there as a stranger with the other host. Well, maybe this summer you'll be in your bubble, so hopefully you're not strangers when you come in, but you might be with other people, but it's still social distancing. But at the end, you leave as a friend. So you'll definitely leave as a friend with your host.
So we're going to show a few different examples here with the different themes. And here you see I have an example of my experience on the bottom right, and we get together and we make a medicine pouch, and I get to give teachings. We open up with a smudge. So there's a smudge teaching. I speak about the 4 sacred medicines. I give teachings on the medicine pouch and the Indigenous creation story. And then everyone gets to make their own medicine pouch, leave with their own medicine pouch, and the ample amount of teachings, sharing, and that they are able to have with the other participants as well.
And here you'll see Rashminder. She's from Punjab and she's got a dancing experience. And Dan from Université de Hearst, he's going to be storytelling on African stories. And the other picture of people going up the stairs, well, that's part of my Hillbury Great Fire Tour. And this is like special access. This is stairs that were there 100 years ago, but had been covered by dirt throughout the years. And Jocelyn and I, my partner, we found them and we dug them out. And part of the tour is using those stairs to get to the convent. So it gives that special access that a lot of locals don't even know about them.
So here we have food and drink, and we're seeing food and drink. There's a lot of online experiences with that right now where people get the ingredients list ahead of time. Then when they connect via Zoom online, they're able to cook together, learn a new recipe, whether that be baking or cooking. And these are experiences that could be had on their own. There's an example of me where I'll be hosting and we'll be cooking bannock on a stick on an open fire. So I'll give a little bit of a history of why bannock is a modern tradition, fire teachings, and different teachings that come with Indigenous culture. Food and drink is also something that can be added to any experience and is kind of, we promote that, because when you add food and drink, whether that just be like a tea and a cookie, or whether it be a meal on a shoreline, like a shoreline lunch, it adds value to your experience. You could charge more, and you could also host for a longer amount of time because you're feeding people kind of halfway through, where people are leaving not feeling starving. So you could have a longer experience, charge more. It's more valuable to those participants, and yeah.
And it adds that connection that we're talking about, that pillar of people connecting together and coming out as friends. There's not a better way to do that than around food. Wellness, Northern Ontario has so many wellness practitioners, and we are seeing that. Here we have Aga doing the sound bowl experience, and May in Timmins doing a forest bathing experience, Nadine in Temiskaming Shores offering a yoga out at Devil's Rock. So with the pandemic, people are wanting to connect with nature. So these type of experience are very sought. Anyways, Lila, let you take do you want to talk about your smudging?
I kind of already touched on it, but smudging is something that I'd like to open all my in cultural Indigenous experiences with. It's something that I personally practice on a daily, and a lot of people in the Indigenous culture do. And it's just to give the teachings on it so that any of those stigmas or those misunderstandings associated to smudge can be clarified, and people could start practicing it on their own. Science is catching up to something that we've been practicing for many, many years in terms of burning that sage and cleansing the air and how it gets rid of all the bacteria and stuff. So it's sharing those teachings and how good it is for your mind, body, spirit, getting balanced and grounded.
So entertainment, well, this is the photo of the bingo out with CKGN. So we are working on that. Hopefully we get an experience around the bingo this summer. And musicians, well, we have so many musicians across the north, and often they don't see themselves having an expertise. So having music around a campfire or having music as something special, people are always looking for that. So, and a lot of musicians haven't had a chance to play. So being able to do experience is a good way for them to start being out there, or even on online also.
So sports. Sports is something that, especially across the north, we do a lot of outdoor sports, whether that be canoeing or snowshoeing in the winter. And it's taken advantage of that land and that access that we have. We have so much space. So I think that that's something that a lot of us in Northern Ontario, we practice already, and we have the means to do that. So for those that don't have those means, it's something for us to share with them and to take them out to experience that.
So we have Milan, that's our youngest participant at 17 years old, and Jean-Pierre Rivet, which is 77. He's the one offering the historical golf experience. So we're very excited to see the variety of experience and people that are taking part in this. In nature and outdoor, that can be a lot of variety. We have here Alex in Kirkland Lake doing a wildlife photography experience, and Ovila out in Kapuskasing doing a trapping experience. And again, we're working with some ATVing club on how maybe an experience could be developed as co-host or as a group. So lots of different opportunities.
We also in the north, because we spend so much time outside, because we have that land, we're seeing a lot of harvesters, people harvesting mushrooms, different edible plants, and medicines. So it's about teaching those things, but also teaching ways to harvest so that we're not hurting that plant, that sustainability piece, because if people don't know how to harvest.
Whoops. Lynn, we just missed you, so I don't know if you can change the slide, and I'll continue. Oh, I think you're back. So but we can get to the training. Whoops.
Okay. So this is the 5-week training program. Right now you're getting the information session, but if you choose to continue, we would get you on our online platform, which is, we use Canvas. And once a week, well, throughout the week, you have 1.5 hours of either there's videos, there's some reading material, and there's some homework to do on your own time. And then once a week as a group, we meet on Zoom, and then we talk about the online experience. We talk about your online kind of learning. We talk about the modules, and we do a lot of sharing. We ask questions, we give feedback to one another, and it's all to progress you in terms of developing your experience. You do have to take the time to work on your own experience, but like I said, you kind of do that on your own, and your trainer is always there to support you if ever you have any additional questions or any issues in terms of accessing those videos. Then we go through a passion fair and a mentorship program, which we're going to talk about in the next couple slides. So I won't go into depth about that. But also when you get to the end, there's that uploading support. So depending if you choose to go through Airbnb experiences or through our 101 Experience website, that's up to you. And there's pros and cons to both, which we'll talk about later. But we have that uploading support for you. So if you have any issues in terms of writing, taking professional pictures, anything of that sort, we're here to help you achieve kind of that finish line goal of becoming a host.
So the passion fair is one of those steps. So what we do, we bring 4 to 6 participants that will be pitching, And 3, we call them potential tourists, people coming to listen to your pitch. So then we divide into groups. So you will pitch to 3 people and for 5 minutes, and then they give you feedback for 5 minutes. So, and then we take you out of that group, we put you in another group, and you repeat your pitch. And you do that between 4 to 6 times in that session. And that really helps improve your presentation skill, get feedback, see how you can change your experience, and then just move on after that. Like Lynn mentioned a while ago, people are participants that have gone through the Passion Fair. It's been a key element for them to say, yes, oh, I see I have a good idea and that people will want to do this.
And we really see participants that like they really, once they get to this stage, once they go through this process of meeting strangers and potential tourists, they come out more comfortable, more confident, and they're really willing. They're saying like, yeah, I'm ready to become a host. I'm ready to upload this. And it's a really great experience for everyone. Here we have the mentorship program. So that's something that once you get to this stage, we kind of we find a mentor for you, or we do our best to. And it's someone who, if you need help with writing, costing out your experience, finding a location, or increasing your confidence. Some people, they get to this point and they do have a specific mentor that they're thinking that they might benefit from. And then other people get to this point and they're like, you know what? No, I'm confident enough and I don't think I need a mentor. But we still like to find someone that's going to compliment you, even if they're just someone who's going to give you motivation, maybe a little bit of success, or just support you along the way and just be like a great cheerleader. It's just something that we kind of see as beneficial to you, and it's our little gift to just help you feel good about what you're doing, whether you need it or not. We try to find someone that's suitable for you.
So for marketing, you have the option, well, the option or both options to do. So there's the Airbnb, that is an international platform that brings a lot of people in. They give you that liability insurance. They do easy payment method because the money goes to them and they'll just deposit the morning of your experience, you're going to get the money in your account. But they do take 20% fee. So you can see that example, or even if you're on Airbnb, you can still choose to be on 101 experience. If you already have liability insurance, then you could decide to be on our 101 experience. So Lynn, I'll let you explain a little bit the advantage of being on 101 experience.
Yeah, so with us, it's more, we're just going to be promoting the experiences throughout the north, throughout that catchment area that we showed you in the beginning slides. But we are not charging you anything, so we don't take any service fees whatsoever. But we also promote you more as a host. We promote you more as a person, what your background is, what your expertise is, what your passion is. And we get to promote you as that instead of promoting specific experiences. So for those people who might have, you know, different passions and multiple experiences that you could develop, that'll all be under you as a host. So if someone comes to one of your experiences, really likes you as a person, really likes what you have to offer, then they could come and experience all the different things that you have to offer. As an example down here, like for me, I'm the host, I'm getting promoted, and then there'll be the different experiences below. So yeah.
So we are also, I mean, this is mostly a product development project, but we do have some marketing strategies like having our website. So what we decided for May with the confinement, we decided to develop Ride the Third Wave program. So this is an opportunity for a participant to offer an online experience before going face-to-face, which is also a way to start promoting who they are and what will be possible. So right now we have 25 participants that will be offering an experience during May. And this was part of a program that we got from seniors. So people, it will be free experience since they will be covered through the program. In June, we're going to be launching our face-to-face or all of the experience. Some of them might still be online. So for you listening today, you can start being part of the program and have your experience ready for this launch at the end of June. We're going to be doing 2 minutes videos for maybe about the first 30 experience face-to-face that are being developed. And that will just help, even if yours might not be, have a 2-minute video to start with, just having all these other videos up there with 101 experience, it will drive traffic to the website. And we also have an experience ambassador program, which will send someone to go and take your experience, write about it, take photos, and they might also do a small video to support you.
So next steps, now you've kind of received the information session, but the next step would be for us to meet, to get together so that you can ask questions, we can answer questions, and you could share a little bit what your passion is, who you are as a person, and why you're interested in developing an experience with our program. And yeah, then we would kind of connect you with one of our trainers. We have 10 trainers at this time, so depending where you live throughout the area, we set you up with someone within that area or someone close to you, or someone that's passionate about something similar that you're passionate about. And then after, it's kind of just moving forward, sharing our passions and continuing with the summer and creating our experiences together and getting our 5-week training program started.
So where you saw this video, just underneath, there's we call it Q&A, question and answers. So you can just book to be part of one of those Q&A, and that will move you forward to the next step. So thank you very much for being here today and listening, and hopefully we can have you on board to develop an experience.
Miigwech, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope you are all doing well. Miigwech.